How's it going, Overwatch fans? Welcome to a UGC League Season 6 Week 8 Gold Division game. My name is JJskywalker, and I'll be casting your game today as well as cameraing and doing everything today. Sadly, I am alone today. Rapture could not join me, but either way, I shall provide you with as much entertainment as I can physically vomit, I suppose. Today we do have Forsaken versus Flatline. We are down to our last 3 matches, people. Two matches are going on this week. It's going to be Forsaken versus Flatline and Second Wind versus Kaiju is the name. Once those guys go through, whoever wins these matches and those 2 respective matches will be going on to finals and facing off to see who are our Season 6 champs. By the way, we are on week 8. I believe we're ending on week 9. I'm looking forward to this game. We have had a lot of Forsaken games this season. Not purposefully. I think it just kind of fell in with the streaming schedule. But we did get to cast a lot of the games. We actually saw one of their winning games and one of their losing games. And they so happen to have lost against Second Wind. Second Wind on a 7-0 winning streak. Forsaken 6-1. This could be their 7th win for them to go and finally fight back to Second Wind, or this could be Flatline's chance to show what they got, even though they did lose, I believe, only 2 games so far.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
We're seeing kind of like a dive here on the defense going for Forsaken. Already we're seeing a fast attack. It's going to be a dive against the dive here. See what they'll be able to do. Rather than going in on the attack, it looks like they're going straight for the position. Flatline going all the way straight in, but they took a lot of damage, almost losing their Diva mech there. Flood keeping an eye. He almost got overrun there, but he was able to get himself out. Flatline going the nice and slow approach. Haven't lost anyone yet. Already going in for the engage. Apologies, my play-by-play is a little bit rusty. Rapture's normally the guy doing that. Spooty taking out hubs. The fire is going in hard for that team. They're using the belt as best as they can to mitigate the damage, but it's going in hard. Right now, Forsaken able to dish out more damage right now than Flatline. It looks like they're going to be backing up again. Either way, they have lost Juve. They have lost Hubs. Hubs barely walking back to his team. They're going to be holding the spot as best they can. Forsaken just holding their position, not forcing anything too aggressive. Just, I suppose, playing what they can. They don't want to risk anything, I imagine, but already beat dropped by Jam and attack visor thrown out against Forsaken, but he did fall straight off the map. Was able to take out Flood. Beat dropped over on Forsaken, and they're holding the point as long as they can. It looks like they're going for the long game. 2v2 here. Juve doing his best to dish out as much damage as he can. Take him out. Able to get the almost close. Oh, Recon is able to take out Mandigo right at the last second. That is going to be, I believe, a 2-minute take. But a pretty good take nonetheless. A lot of people have trouble on this point. Oh, it looks like they will be trying. They are contesting it with a Genji Blade over on Flood. Able to take out already Jam initially. Backing out a little bit with the Diva mech already on point. Winston Rage is going through and they're trying their best. They're on the last Chevron, but they're just not able to get it. Forsaken pushing the time, and they were able to save themselves an extra 20 seconds. A really good lead given over to Forsaken if they're able to hold the second point. Both of them lost team members, but luckily Forsaken having the spawn advantage there. So they're not much of a loss when going for that fast aggressive play. Apologies if my camera works a little wonky. Whenever I cast, I feel like going fast, fast, fast. I'll slow it down a bit here. Is right now, again, Flatline. Taking it nice and slow, and I like that. And I wasn't even watching, but it seems like Juve was able to get to the back line. Yes, he's over here on the side. Sorry about that. And Juve able to take out Mandigo initially. They're not paying attention. They were paying attention to the main team, and Juve's already in the back line, taking out the soldier, taking out, oh, so close, the Zenyatta. But not close enough. Flatline, again, very neat play, slow, but right when they see that opportunity, they take it. Going straight in. Now remember, that right now, Forsaken does have the spawn adventure, but it doesn't matter with the tack. hitting in the back, and the boops just allowing them to push back. Already again, we're in the same position we were last time. Last Chevron, but they're in a really good place. Ooh, and because they threw the Diva Mech in and just weren't there on the point, team eliminated right at the end. Caillou threw his mech and was able to be taken out. I did not see who got the kill, but right at that moment when he threw his mech, he was taken out in mini Diva form, and nobody was on the contestation point. In a way, smart to use the Diva Mech to take him off the point, but because nobody was there to back him up, he was very defensive in that situation. If possible, if he had just waited just a little bit longer, it would have been a formidable pushback, but I don't know how to put it into words. I normally have a word for it, and it isn't disgraceful, but it's something along those lines. I always forget that one word. Either way, no, not disgraceful, but very formidable. Formidable play, and just unlucky, I suppose. Yes, it's another word for unlucky. Forsaken got a really good push. It seemed like, I mean, Flatline got a really good push. It seemed like Forsaken was able to niche off like a little bit out of them. I suppose for them, the advantage they did get was they were able to waste a good amount of time. If they're able to get the next 2 points, this is where the game plan really, or the amount of work they did in this initial 2 points really comes into play. But if they're not able to push this, then map 1 will go to Flatline. Right now, before we were seeing kind of like a double dive going into each other, whereas Flatline was going really slow. I really like to see what Flatline's got in their defense. They can't exactly play as slow as they were on their attack. They have to engage somehow, but I'm wondering if rather than attack, they'll decide to back away. Juve, on the other hand, is being very, very aggressive, counter-wise to his team. So it's a very interesting dynamic that's, I believe, giving a run for Forsaken. But either way, Forsaken has had only 1 loss so far, and for a good reason. So going a little bit different. They have a Widowmaker in the backline. They're doing the same plan, going for the positioning. They're on point and pushing out the enemy team while in the backline. Oh, we call it right there. Flood taking out Jam in the background. No heals going for them. Juve trying his best to take him out right here, but we're just going to be having a little bit of a scuffle here. Forsaken, the main portion, was able to hold, since right now Flatline did not have any sustain, and somehow I got stuck up here. God dang it. That looks like it's going to be an easy take for Forsaken, as they waste no time taking point 1. A whole 7 minutes for them to take the second point. Either way, Flatline still has a good amount of time to regroup, see what they did wrong. They've switched Jam to the Mercy. They understand that they lost people, so it might be those picks that is giving them the problem, switching for a Resurrection. Even with Mercy being a little bit slow, I imagine they feel confident in that choice. Forsaken going in initially. Zaf in the background, dishing as much damage as he can as well as heals. Apologies for the lag here, as Flood is doing a significant amount of picks in the backline. I do not actually see him though. Actually, yes, here he is. All the way in the backline, nowhere near anywhere for Flatline to be able to jump him. So it's providing a little bit of a difficulty since he's so far away from the point. Oh, not a very good Diva going on over there. Because right now, Flatline is able to keep Forsaken off the point. Right now, they don't have much of an attack going on the front line. I did not see who took out Flood in the background, but I imagine it was one of the DPSs. Right now, the team doesn't really have the ability to jump. Even though they're running a dive, they don't want to get too far away from the point, because that is the problem they had on the first one. It's a good thing they were able to fix it, but they need to be careful. Flood is still being run here, and he did throw his Widow Vision, so they know exactly where the team is. They know exactly where the Mercy is too. They got to be careful there. Valkyrie already punched all over Flatline, and it looks like they're just going to be taking their time here. Flood able to take out Hambino, but either way, I imagine he's going to be rezzed. I do not see the res coming through there. Yes, there it is, but either way, they're just going for a nice slow contest. Half the team there, Zaf on the high line, and so is Flood. Already taking out Hambino again. Valkyrie, I imagine, already down. The dive from Flatline are trying to go around, trying to take out as many people as they can, but it doesn't seem to be a little bit coordinated. They're concentrating on the point, they're concentrating on the hit scans, but there's just so much to deal with on the side of Flatline. Hambino already back up, using his tack, taking out the main tank line. For Forsaken, they're gonna have to have another try here. Forsaken already hitting that halfway point, almost hitting the time that Flatline took to take this point. Now, I don't see that many changes going on over at Forsaken. They're confident in their composition. Again, throwing Widow Vision again. It's a really good idea. I mean, they're getting it, so they know exactly where the enemy team is. If they change anything, if they're going through, they know who to jump on, and a beautiful jump going through. Already on Soldier, already on Monkey. Monkey low. Tracer Bomb from Juve over in Forsaken, taking out their support. That's not going to be easy for them to recover from. But with Winston using his ult, doing honestly a good amount of damage, Spooty able to take out a good amount of things. Not only Diva Mech, but a good amount of damage to the enemy team. They're having to back up, but Valkyrie is punched forward. What will be going on? Flood and Zaf just doing some good amount of damage back here. But Juve goes off to the side, and Hambino switching from Soldier to Genji and dealing a good amount of Genji shifts. A healthy amount, if you will. No chevrons locked in. Flatline having a really formidable defense. They learned quickly, even though they lost the point one really, honestly, a little bit easily. They changed up their battle plan very well. Flood switching over to Soldier. Looks like they're looking for a much more committed DPS. Even with Flood being able to dish out a good amount of headshots, maybe they want something a little more consistent. Who knows? They're going initially on the point, not wasting anything. The Spooty did go in, almost took no damage, went back and shielded his team, and there's just a scrappy amount of fights here. Hubs having to fall off the map. Ricky able to take out Saf, and that's a good amount of damage, but Flood able to take out their DPS. Remember that Flatline does have the respawn advantage here. Beat is dropped, and this is where they're going to be looking for the kills with Jam down. Sustain is harsh, but with that, Tan did use Zenyatta. Go forward with Genji Blade countering it. There is almost no way for Forsaken to easily counter this other than with Zaf putting forward his Zenyatta ult. And the fights are everywhere. The priorities are consistent. It's very easy to tell exactly who these people are aiming for. Every enemy one by one. I imagine Jam might be next here, but they're honestly going for the point here. They need to get as much as they can, and they have not gotten much halfway to the first chevron. They're trying their best. Every time they shoot a target, the next one's already coming from the backline, but with Flood's tack already on, that's going to be a good significant advantage on damage. I'm at a loss. If Rapture were here, I feel like I could easily analyze as I can tell, it's a combination of just general scrappy plays and the fact that Flatline is using that dive potential, that respawn and dive potential to their advantage, separating their team, yet keeping them on the point at the same time, allowing their team to essentially rotate very well. We're seeing beat dropped for Forsaken. They're a little bit tanky, but they are losing people. Already 2 down for them. It's not looking good as they did lose both their DPSs. I don't think this is going to be a good push for them. Yes, already the call clearly was to back out. And they've only got 40 seconds left to do something, change something. The only changes they've made so far, I believe, is Flood just moving around characters, seeing if they can switch something up.
30 seconds remaining.
This is most definitely going to be the last push for Forsaken.
Check this out.
I'm about to shoot you down.
They do have Diva ult, they do have Monkey ult, so that's a good tanky line, a good I suppose mitigator. But they do not have any progress on the point, so they have to be careful. Hubs is out of the way, though, and Valkyrie is nowhere to be seen as Jam is down. Sound Barrier is down, though, but that's not going to be enough. The team is going to be holding for a good amount of time, but with him, and oh, man. Mandingo doing amazing work with that Genji Blade, getting initial 3, and Inky dropping his bomb and taking out the rest of Forsaken. Urki. Why did I say Inky? Apologies, Urki.
Play of the game.
Good, and oh well, thank God that we're actually going to be able to see it, because I did not catch that.
Double, triple kill, quadruple kill.
Urki and Hambingo. I will not forget your names. Apologies, but honestly, very good hit. Going from the team, good individual plays. They separate their team. Apologies, let me switch it over. Nice loading intermission. I forget that I am also the person in charge of changing the scores. Bop. And one more change. Teams are switched here. In the blue, we will be having Flatline. Let's see. There we go. We're going to be going to Junkertown here. As I said before, interesting different strategies going on here. I feel like Forsaken is very much running it by the book, going straight forward, trying to just attack it as coordinated as possible. Their target priority is something to be admired. But when it comes to Flatline, they're very strategic in their attacks and their defenses. Every single time they try to do something, it feels very founded. It's not, I feel like, something it's communicated. The only communication might be target priority, but beyond that, their just general play seems to be something they're very used to. Their attacks are nice, slow, concise, kind of like, I don't know, a tiger going through the jungle waiting to attack something and ensuring that their kill will be correct. And their defenses are very scattered, very guerrilla in a sense. And apologies, right now my computer is having a little bit of trouble loading Junkertown apparently. That's good.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
Teams have not started that. So right now, Flatline are going to be going for a Widow defense. We have not seen Juf on Widow yet, but we have seen that his Tracer has been very consistent. Let's see how his Widowmaker goes. On Forsaken, they will be bringing out Mandingo on hit scan this time, and Flood will be trying out Junkrat.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Very indicative of normal plays here. We're not going to be seeing a Bastion, but we are seeing a Death Ball comp. It's going to be placed on the point. Actually, double Death comp, double Death Ball comps going for both teams, but they are able to bring in Spooty, take him on initially. That Roadhog play is indicative of being successful in those pushes. Mandingo, though, is able to take out Juf in the backline. I believe he was being taken out by Flood with a few bombs, and he wasn't able to move with that explosion. I kind of caught a glimpse of that. Flood trying his best to do a good amount of artillery without even taking any amount of damage. Flatline having to push back a bit, regroup just a little bit so Juf can come around the corner. They are having a little bit of trouble having any place for Juf, but Juf able to push back Mandingo. Either way, he has to be careful. Mandingo peeks around the corner without him noticing. He will be taken out. Both Death Balls doing their best, pushing as much, and right now Orisa was all alone. Juf able to see that initial hit shot without her shield down and take him out. Right now, half and half for both teams. Actually, it's a 4v4 going on here. Juf able to take out Neowild, so there is no sustain on the enemy team, but if they do more damage, it is perfect. Orisa, even with her shield down, goes down, and all that's left is Mandingo. And the push just goes away with Hambino finishing that off. Very similar, I suppose, executions going on in both. Honestly, the only difference was positioning in that case. Orisa went around the corner and she immediately got taken out by Juf because she had the positional advantage. Brought back by Neowild, but then Neowild got taken out. No sustain for Flatline. I mean, Forsaken. All that was left for them to be able to maybe dish out a little bit more damage, but it was not enough. Now they do have a lot of ults going for them. Roadhog ult, Junkrat ult. They know exactly where their enemy team is, and they don't even need to know where the Widowmaker is. Never mind, yes they do, as she is back. But they will be spamming a little bit of ults here. Valkyrie and Transcendence. I gotta say, ballsy.
Into the iris.
Now Hambino and Flood both throwing down their ults, but Hambino able to take out Flood. Flood is back though. And the fights are just going on. Urki, just risky plays going on in the front line, not behind shields, and able to get a triple kill for his team. They're not paying attention to the big guy dishing a ridiculous amount of damage to their faces. I'll try to get the first person action here a little bit better, as now I have a better sense of what these teams are actually doing and who is doing the work. Either way, a lot of these members are doing amazing work.
Seconds remaining.
It's time for Forsaken and taking a little bit slow. They've only got 50 seconds, so it's understandable. Side is over on Flatline side, but they were able to take out Urki. And there they go. Ult's already coming out. Flatline, ooh, countering with a good Junkrat tire.
Into the iris.
Gemeinsam kämpfen wir.
And Valkyrie is coming out. I imagine the reses might go through, but he has to be careful. The enemy team does have the advantage here, but all they need to do, if they don't contest it, there is no point to using these ultimates. Jam all alone here, and not able to hold the point. Forsaken able to increase their time here on Junkertown. Death Ball still being run. Forsaken are gonna have a little bit of advantage here on their attack, as they do have vision on the enemy team, as you can see here. Ooh, but even with that advantage, Urki able to get a good pull over on Flood. Wild looking for that opportunity, I imagine, but no, it looks like they're not going to be bringing back Flood. Unfortunate, as right when Roadhog was going to get Flatline was going to get pushed back, the angles were just not on Forsaken's favor. Zaf is going to be pushed back a little bit longer. He needs to be careful, yeah. If he gets taken out, that will not be neat. With Zaf pushed back, and that's going to push back Forsaken for a good 10 seconds. I'm going to be hitting the 1 minute 40 second mark here. Both teams kind of in the same place. Flatline a little bit low on ultimates when it comes to their economy, but both support arts, all assaults are coming out for them, because they're just going to immediately spam Valkyrie. Flatline down 2 people, but reses are coming down. They're still down 2 people, and they're just getting knocked out one by one by this death ball. They're a little bit separated here. Not much resistance going on from them, other than from a few hit scans.
60 seconds remaining.
Apologies, not hit scans, a few ranged. Imagine they are going to go for the last second contest here.
Today we find a new champion.
The team is coming around. Yes, already. Arista Shield dropped, and they bring all the team together, but Mandingo able to get off one on Juice.
Into the iris.
Forsaken already having a good push here. There's nothing that Flatline can do with that Transcendence up.
30 seconds.
And one by one they begin to go down. There is no way other than unless Hubs is able to hold out long enough. Apologies, a little bit of lag going on there, but no.
Payload has reached the
As Forsaken is able to get themselves to phase 3. A little bit troubling here for Flatline. They're not able to coincide their team here. Every single time, yes, Mandingo takes out Juve, and then for the rest of the fight, it doesn't seem like Flatline's able to get themselves together. They're so, as I said before, it's very good individual plays coming from Flatline, but the moment they lose somebody, significant, it doesn't seem like they're able to get their team together and push them up. I'm a little confused here. Oh, there we go. I didn't see the enemy team, and I was like, what? I do not believe it was loading for me. Going out the Junkrat tire, but Mandingo takes it out easily. Forsaken one by one, taking out the enemy team. All that knocked out right now for Forsaken is Spoody. That's not much of a loss, as most of her damage is coming from their DPS.
Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei. My ultimate is charging.
With this last area push here on phase 3, they might have a chance to get themselves back together. We've seen it before, Flatline, very good last holds for them. But who knows?
Gemeinsam kämpfen wir.
So they can already getting the amount of kills we're used to.
Dein Schutzengel.
Mandingo back here not being dealt with whatsoever. The only thing in his way was literally a diva barrier. Other than that, he is taking out people left and right without any form of contention.
Nerf this.
That being said though, Urki able to get a good triple kill on his devault. All that's left is 3 people from Forsaken. Genji Blade coming out. Could not go any further. Flood able to get a good kill and a good Genji shift, and it looks like Flatline able to push through, but no, with the Transcendence going through. Both supports on the point, doing their best to contest overtime as long as they possibly can. Will they have enough time? But no. Flatline able to do another good endgame hold. But will they be able to push through Forsaken's defense? We'll see.
0-2. Switching sides.
I'd have to honestly see the compositions they decide to bring out. It would be at this point where Rapture would say, what do you think that the enemy team can do in order to get the advantage? And I'm honestly not sure. Two completely different playstyles. And it is in Flatline where you can clearly tell that no matter what, they require the entirety of their team to do a lot. And that's completely fine. That's understandable. That's something that you do see that tends to be indicative in most higher tier play. But almost seems there's no opportunity for Flatline to almost do anything when their entire team hasn't committed something to the fight. The moment they've lost somebody before the fight has started, they tend to be at a disadvantage. If they do not lose people initially, I do see a good run going for Flatline here.
Hello there.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
The Flatline are going to be opting for the Bastion. Not a bad choice, especially considering that right here, Forsaken have decided to go dive rather than Death Ball. So there's not going to be anything harsh going against the shields. The only person is going to be Spoody, and Spoody's going to be the easiest target. It's going to be very easy to take him out, but with NeoWow backing him up, that's strange. Who knows? Might be able to hold off long enough. They are taking the hiding approach. They're probably going to wait for them to get on the point, so they're kind of used to this. They were waiting for a Death Ball comp. And here it is. They jump off to the side. Not really much going into it, as they kind of jump in front of the point to stop it. Zaf able to take out Bastion initially, though. They do have the respawn advantage here. Rather than respawn, they did get rezzed. Just excellent frags going out here for Flatline. Taking out the Diva mech and then grabbing her right out of it. Not allowing that extra amount of time for her to get her mech back. Well, they are running a Hanzo here. This is going to be a very snowbally comp if they allow it. Double hit scan, double defense hit scan. Actually, a triple defense going on here. I don't think I've ever seen it before. Yeah, triple defense. Very interesting, but does not seem to be effective, as they are taken out very fast on the point. Not allowed to almost do anything. With Kayudu taking out just a majority of the damage. That Diva shield, I believe, just reduced their damage completely to 0%, since they were all in the same area. Nothing came through, and the rest of the team did the rest of the work. Well, they will be going for the same thing. Hambino waiting on that Dragon Strike, but Forsaken almost practically waiting on everything else. Got a nano boosted Genji Blade here, but he went straight through the Dragon Strike. Either way, Flood. Decimating Flatline. It's going to be another pushback.
Come on.
Now, Forsaken did have to waste 3 ults there. They have to be a little bit careful. Their tank ults are coming up, so they're going to have a very neat, harsh hold unless the rest of their team gets demolished. 1 for 1 on both ends. But Hambino, as he's going for the kill, gets bombed. If only I had to cut a little bit closer eye, but that was a beautiful Tracer Bomb right when he shifted. Oh, very interesting playing coming out from Spoody as he jumps off the map, comes back in, with Juve taking him out right when he gets out of it. Just a generally scrappy play. Both teams playing as best as they can. I don't blame either of these teams as they're trying out a little bit of different things that they think could deal with the enemy team. But it seems that the triple defense slightly did work for Flatline. They did have to switch off the Bastion though. Flatline looking for the right opportunity here. But I don't imagine they'll be going in alone. Mandingo all the way in the backline, and there goes the dive. But it got completely denied by a Winston shield. Majority of D.Va's damage. Either way. Flatline backing him away, D.Va, then backing him away with Genji Blade. And Vino able to get a double kill and looking for a little bit more, able to just deflect without even realizing it. A good amount of Tracer damage. Really pushing forward here. Jam holding on to Valkyrie. That's going to be a lot for a second phase push. That's definitely going to, I imagine, hook it in for them. Forsaken not having much on their end though. Devolve is coming up, but it's going to take a little bit. Valkyrie popped initially. Hambino getting the initial kill. Looking for a little bit more. He's able to get the bat line. Throwing his body all the way in the front. Able to get himself a little bit healed, and Juve, without even realizing it, already a triple kill on his list. Looks like that's definitely going to be phase 2.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
I feel like we've been here before. I can't exactly say how though. Coming up into the end, and all Forsaken needs to do is use their ultimates, I suppose, sparingly. They need to be careful not to use too many, as last time they did use 3, and I believe that kind of harmed them a little bit. Genji Blade is coming out here, but it's from Flatline. Ambino already getting a triple kill, but D.Va shot on top with the Winston shield, completely taking it out and not being allowed to get back in her mech. Flatline is going to be allowed to push just a little bit farther. They're probably going to get to the halfway point before Forsaken gets to do anything. 3 ults, no, 4 ults down for Forsaken. A harsh use of ultimates there. All they need to do is get to this point, and it's honestly not much. Forsaken needs to be careful when to use Juve. Already taking out Mandingo. All that's left is Flood. And there it comes, the Genji Blade heading to the backline. Straight for the hit scan, but he's not able to take out anyone as Juve just eliminates him. All that's left here is the tanks and the healers. Juve looking for something, not concentrating, as right now he's being attacked from the back line. And it looks like for some strange reason he is contesting the point here. Waiting for the team to come back in, but Hambino already had his Genji Blade back. Able to get a kill, shift straight through, good amount of damage coming through. Flood not going to be able to hold on long enough. cost of his Diva ult. And there we go, Flatline. Able to take the 2-0 up on Forsaken. We saw them go straight through. UGC Season 6, we saw 2 of their wins, 1 of their losses, the second win, but it does not look like, unless I got it wrong, that semifinals changes. No, definitely not, that they're able to get the revenge. As Flatline takes the win, and they're going to be heading on straight towards the finals. Congratulations to Flatline. Change some data here. So yeah, I mean, a very interesting change of attacks. I really have to put that out, that Forsaken wasted a little bit too many ults there up in the end. When it came to phase 2, they had to use 3 ultimates to go through that defense, and it harmed them at the end of the phase 2. Going into the start of phase 3, wasting, I don't know what I said, I believe 3 to 4 ultimates. Going up there in the end, they had nothing going on to the next point, and you have to remember that Forsaken wasn't able to push all the way to the end. They only had a good amount of distance behind that end point, which did not favor them in their defense. Unfortunate, but either way, congratulations and amazing job to both teams. I mean, again, we saw Forsaken, and they were a formidable enemy. But we did not see Flatline come around, and that's always something I've said, that in these seasons, there's always those teams that prepare so much, and we might see them lose initially, but then they just rocket all the way to finals, and heck, they might put a good amount of effort on second wind. We will be getting word later. They're not going to be playing today, but they'll be playing later, and they could be getting an 8-win streak, and for all we know, could be a 9-win streak all the way to championships. But either way, thank you so much for everyone. I've probably been saying either way a million times, a million times. I'm not used to play-by-play, but thank you so much for dealing with me. To those of you that want to see more, please come over to the UGC Discord and sign up. We're already at the end of Season 6. Season 7 is going to be coming right around the corner, probably April, maybe, I imagine. I have definitely asked the mods over in Discord, or check us out over at UGC League over on Twitter for more information. We honestly don't tweet that much, but we do, the admins are very friendly over at the UGC Discord, so they'll definitely fill you guys in if you have any questions. Gonna head you guys off on an outro. I shall miss all of you. By the way, I've been JJskywalker. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all next week.